Okay, good evening. We're starting the Tanya Shir today from yesterday. The Shir of yesterday, Chof Ches Nisan, Koyach Nisan. It's on page Samech Aleph, 121 on top. ואויד זו יזכור כמו שאומר בשר ודם עיקר הירא מפנימיוסו וחיוסו ולא מגופו. When you have a fear from a king, basar v'dam, blood and flesh, your main fear from him, it's not from the external part of him, which is his body, but from his pnimius, from his neshama. V'lo migufo, not from his body. Sharei, what's the proof for it? How do you know you're afraid of his neshama, not of his body? Sharek sheyoshen and shom yuram emena. When he's asleep, you're not afraid of him. You're afraid when he's awake. Awake, it's the neshama. How do you? Why are you afraid of the neshama when he's awake? Because now he's functioning, but you don't see the neshama. You see the goof. What we see with our basar, with our physical eyes, we see only the body. We don't see the neshama. But how do we know about the neshama? It's because we understand if somebody moving, somebody functioning, we know there's a neshama over there. He's alive. So that's not riyas ha'ayin. It's not what you see with your eyes. It's what you understand with your mind. So Mimele, again, is trying to convince that our mind that the same way you could see God not with your eyes, but with your seichel, with your understanding. When you look at it, talk about still looking at the king. You don't see with your eyes. You see through your mind. By seeing with your eyes his body, in his clothing, you know that if the king is a body and he's alive, he's functioning, you know, he has a neshama over there. Again, you don't see the neshama, but you understand the neshama, so they work together. The gashmis and the ruchnis work to God. You see with your eyes the gashmis of the king, his body and his garments, and through your mind, you know if he's functioning. You know there is a neshama over there. He says, "Kocha mamish, v'imken kocha mamish, yesh lo lira savaya." Same thing. You have to have a fear from Hashem. Aledei reiyas ene bosar. There is a physical vision over here. What you will see physically. B'shamayim v'oretz, when we look in the heaven and earth, l'chol tzvam asher oiren tzavurchum mulubash b'am lachayosam. See the whole creation, and you see that's moving, that's alive. You see it's alive. It's not sleeping. The world, things are functioning. Yeah. So mele would that riyas ayin. That was with the physical eyes. When you look at the world, you know also now, but the riyas asechel must be there is a neshama to that world, and that neshama of the world is Hashem. Nishmas kol chai. That's Hashem. Now we see the Hagor. Gam riyas ayin. Also, we see with our physical eyes. Shem betelim le'oiro izborech. That's called tzva shamayim. That's the shemesh, the erech, the kechovim. All of them are nullified to his light. Vishtachavosam kol yom klape mayro b'shkiosam. Every day, all tzva shamayim, they bow down to Hashem when they go towards west. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Why it goes this way? Because it says Shechina b'mayla. It goes towards that, and he goes down. And while he's going down towards the west, he bows down, and that's what his ski is. It sets down. That's why it's mishtachavim. They go towards Mayra because Shechina b'mayla. V'nimtza hiluchom kol hayom, the whole day. They're going towards the Shechina, and as they go to him, they sets down. Okay. Before we go further, that's my question. I'm just I have a question without answer. I don't understand this Hagor. That's brought in the Biurim that al pi derech hateva they should go the opposite direction. Al pi derech hateva it says, and I don't understand why, but that's what it says over there. Al pi derech hateva they should go from west to east. The reason they're going from east to west because Shechina v'Mayra they're going towards the Shechina with the Ishtachavua, with bowing down, with bittul, with nullification. That's again why it should be. Hey, I don't understand why it should be vice versa. I don't understand why it should be that way. And the second, again, I don't understand. What do you want to show over here? That they have a bittul. They want to show over here that they have a bittul to Hashem, and because of that bittul, they're going to the west. L'choira says clearly in the Rambam, and there's no argument on this. That kol tzva Hashemayim, they are kagarzen b'yad achoitzim. They are like a hammer in the hands of the craftsman. Yeah, they have no opinion. They have no. They don't. They have no. Uh, they don't have a. They don't make any decision. They have no bechira chofshus. So Hashem created them that way. So what it shows that they have a bittul. Unless we're going to say Hashem originally created them with that bittul in them. Okay, so okay, that's what we could say. That's not that they decided to go this way because they have a bittul in ishtachava. Hashem created them that way. So unless we're going to say again, Hashem created such a why Hashem created such a way. They should go from east to west and not from west to east, because with that the creation shows their bittul to Hashem. That they're going with towards the west and they sets down the bow down over there. Okay, so that's the best I could say. But again, I really don't understand more than that. Okay, let's go weiter. I'm still inside the Agor. If somebody never saw the king, but he doesn't know the king at all. Again, when he goes to the palace of the king, you're going to see many ministers, very important ministers. You see, they're all bowing down to him, they all have nullification to him. People all of so is what he says like that. Even let's say you never saw the king, you don't have hasoga lakis, you don't see really, it's very difficult for you to understand yourself the godliness. Yeah, just looking at the world, this is the big ministers. We have the sun, the moon, the galaxies, the stars, and they have a great bittul to Hashem. If you just looked into it, that on its own also going to give you some pachad. You know who the boss is? Maybe I don't know the boss, but it must be a great boss because they're all in this big tzva shamayim, they're huge, they're big in quantity and quality, and they so bottle to their boss, to the king, how much more it should give me emma pachad. The story, just to a little bit give illustration to this. There was a man in Russia that they used to do business with the Tsar, the time of the Tsar, and one day he got an invitation from the Tsar to come and see. When he got the invitation, he got very scared. What the Tsar wants from him? Who knows? Maybe he did something wrong. Maybe he's up to something no good, maybe he's going to punish him. He was very, very frightened, but he went for his appointment. And as he waiting for his appointment, it came the time that he needs to see the king. They maybe he came a little bit early, maybe they delayed the appointment a little bit. While he's waiting over there, he saw how the big ministers going in and out to see the king and how they're all with such a great yiras covered, great fear, great derecheret, they're frightened. And they're going to, as he more you see people, the big ministers going in and out, the more frightened he gets. And if they are working for the king over here, they work in the palace over here, and they're so frightened, what's going to happen with me, he says. And he was waiting like this for a few hours. Then comes the clerk and tells him, you're good to go home. Your appointment is canceled, you can go home. So he was wondering why did the king call them over here? So the clerk explained them He says, the king saw when he did business with you that you don't have the proper derecheretz for him, that you really don't know who you're doing business with. You were too casual. So he wanted you to come, and while you're waiting here, he watched you, the way you were frightened, the way you see what's going on of you. Now he says, mission accomplished. You go home now. Now you know what the king is. So, that's illustrates a little bit the idea. Sometimes we are too simple to see the greatness of the king. We don't understand. But if we see the big ministers are so bottled to the king, if we that also needs some kind of understanding how the universe works. Yeah, through that we could get a little bit of understanding of the fear of the king. Okay, it's going inside now, back inside the Tanya. Even though when you see the king, he has many garments. Something when you see Hakadosh Baruch Hu, he comes with a lot of levushim to this world. He has a lot of garments because he goes. Hakadosh Baruch Hu mislabash bo'elam atzilut and bo'elam abriya, then bo'elam aitzed and bo'elam asiya. Here and till he appears over here to us. The world as a lot of garments, and that's why we've said many times the word oilam in Hebrew, it's miloshan he'elam v'hester, it's concealment. That the king, he is concealed in many garments. So he says, Mimela, what do you want to say? Maybe you're gonna think, maybe that's why I don't understand, comprehend him, or see him. I don't see enough of him because he's too concealed. Yes, he says. Array and have the vefresh klal. There's no difference. Biras melech basar v'dam. Ben shu orum, ben shu levush echad, ben shu levushim rabim. When you see the king, it doesn't make a difference. You see the king when he's naked, when he has one garment or many garments. It's the king. You're afraid of the king. So the same thing when you see the king through the garment, as long as you see the king over there in this world, you see the koach hatnu of the world. You see the world is alive, it's moving, and he is the king, and the whole world is just as levushim. That should give you some yira. So how you get used to it? You have to accustom yourself. You have to have it in your bring into your habit. It should be steady in your mind and heart, in your heart and mind. Whatever you see in your eyes. The heaven and earth. And whatever in it, it's a lot of things in the heaven and earth, it's just very general. In the heaven, you have Tvashim, in the earth, you have a lot of details over here, and they're all functioning, they're all alive, because he is the energy for them. All this whole entire world, what you see, are just external garments of the king. And when you make a little bit accustomed to it, to think about this and to see this as the only garments of the king, yeah. When you see the snow, you know that's the garment for the king. I see the king shows himself through the snow. When you see the rain, you know the king now is using the rain as his garment. He's showing himself his koya through the rain. When you see the sun comes out, you know now is the garment of the king. Through that garment, Hashem shows that he is that energy of the sun, and so on and so forth. You see it, you could see it a million times a day. Everything in the bria you could see that's the garments of the king. And when you get accustomed to think this way, yeah, he says, and if you're going to remember that the sun, the moon, the snow, the rain, the whole bria, the whole entire universe, it's levushim of the king, you're going to now also go deeper, understand the pnimius of those levushim. And the pnimius is Hashem. What's loshan emuna? Loshan regilus. Alter Rebbe giving us a new idea for the word emuna, a new meaning. We all know emuna, it's faith, believe. Now it has another thing. Emuna loshan regilus. You have to get accustomed. Shemar gil ha'odamas atzma. You accustom yourself. That's loshan training. Like an expert that the training his hands to do something right. I was teaching somebody is a train. Emunah, you have to train yourself to think certain way. So that's what emunah. Emunah oimen ma'amen es yodov. You have to train yourself. You have to be accustomed to think certain way. You never thought of it. You look at the sun every day and the moon and the whole universe. You don't think anything. Think about it. They're functioning. They're alive. That's the levushim of the king. Inside there is a king over there. Gam yes the zikr and tom in loshem chazal. Kabbalah tzol malchus shamayim. Shukin yansem tosum alech hamelech. We have to also makabel. There's one thing. It's one thing to think of the king, or to think of the levushing, the garments of the king, but it's not doesn't relate to you. You feel there is a big king over there, and all this world is levushim, but still it still doesn't connect to you. You know there is such a thing. But he says, no, you have to makabel ol malchus shamayim upon yourself. I accept them as my king. Because this whole creation, he left them, meaning, Adarabah, he didn't put his kingdom on them. Who he chosen from this whole big universe? Who is chosen to be? They should be his nation. He should be their king. Upon us. And we are the Jewish nation. We accept his kingdom. We're bowing down in the davening of Shmona Esrei. Achar Kabbalas ol Malchus Shamayim b'dibur b'kriyas Shema. Like the whole idea of Kriyat Shema is in the Kabbalas Malchus Shamayim. So Hashem Elkeinu Hashem Echad. And we say that Echad meaning the Ches, it's 7 heaven and earth, 8 Dalet, it's Arba Ruchas Oilam, 4 corners of the world, and all of it, including myself, all bottled to Alufa Shel Olam, to Dalet. That's Echad. So basically, over there you're accepting the kingdom. But he says that was only theoretical, accept the kingdom. By Shmu, that was B'dibur B'machshova. But he says, but that's Ishtachava b'tfilah. Achal kabel malchus shamayim b'dibur b'kriyas shema lachzer u'lekabel b'poyel mamash b'ma'aseh chuluk m'shkosim m'kamach. By Shmona Esrei, now you bow down. Is that whatever I spoke about, whatever was in my mind, in my mouth, now I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm bowing down. And if you have this in mind, when you bow down, people think it's just some kind of ritual. I put my head down. If you think about it, I'm bowing down to the king, and I'm avatal myself to him. You know, how many people you could bow down? Some of us would not bow down to anybody. We have our ego. We have our pride. Yeah. Over here by Shmona Esrei, I'm saying to myself, I am bowing down. I take my I, I take my capital I, and I put it down now. I bow down to the Hashem. That's why it says Baruch Ata, because you bless you. Because the whole idea of Shmona Esrei, that's not about I, about me. It's about you, Baruch Ata, and I am bowing down to you completely. So that's comes after Kriyat Shema. So that's what we have to do after looking at the heaven and earth. And that's in Kriyat Shema. You're looking Zayin Rekim, Oret, Zaltruchas Oilam. I'm looking at the heaven and earth and everything in it. Yeah, but that's all theoretical. How it relates to you by you practicing it by Shmona Esrei, bowing down, saying, yeah, I accept you as my king. Now it more relates to me, and but it relates to me not only in thought and speech, but in action. Okay, so that's the shiur of today now. Perek Mem Gimel. All this, if you remember, that's the eldest Hemshech of Perek Mem Aleph. He says, Perek Mem Aleph, the Alter Rebbe says, the foundation, the roots, and the main thing of Avodas Hashem, that's having fear. Because the fear of God, the Yireh Tato at least, yeah, the lowest level, which is going to talk about it now. We're going to talk about it today. What's the highest level and the lowest level? The Yireh Tato, that's the foundation of Avodas Hashem. You cannot serve the king without having the fear. As we explained this then, I'm going to just repeat it quickly. There's a famous Rabbeinu Bachye. He says, if you have a bucket full of dirt, that bucket is not a vessel for gold. You want to put gold there, there's no room for the gold because the bucket is full of dirt. What you have to do, get rid of the dirt, clean the bucket. Now it's a vessel. Now you could put over there the gold. The whole Avodas Hashem, it's a lot of gold. But it's Abbas Hashem and Avodas Hashem. But if the bucket full of Tavas Olam Hazeh, if the bucket is full of the you immerse in Olam Hazeh, you're not a vessel for godliness. So what you have to do, get rid of the dirt, get rid of Tavas Olam Hazeh, make yourself a kli, wash off the kli, make it a kli for Hashem, for Abbas Hashem, for Avodas Hashem. Now you could put all this gold in this vessel. How you make yourself a kli? How you make yourself a vessel that's in enough yira? Yira, it's bittul. I'm a vattal myself to Hashem. I don't have my own desires, meaning when I'm a vattal those desires to you, that's enough yira tator. That's why he says, the Alter Rebbe, this is the main foundation of Avodas Hashem. Without yira, you cannot come to serve Hashem. Now he's going to talk about further. The yira tator mainly it's for doing the mitzvahs of Hashem. Not to do things you're not supposed to do, but and to do things you're supposed to do. Because if you bottle to Hashem, if you're the servant, if you're the soldier, then whatever he tells you to do, you're going to do. And that's the idea of yira. It converts you from a regular citizen to a soldier, obeying citizen, a soldier. You're listening to the king. And immediately you do whatever the king wants you to do, and not do things he doesn't want you to do. And that's what it says. But Omru, the Chazal telling us, in yira and chokhmah. If there's no yira over there, you can't learn chokhmah satayra either. You have to come to the learning of chokhmah satayra, or understanding of godliness with the first, that in of yira, bittul as a soldier. I'm doing what the king tells me to do. V'yesh bo b'chinas katnus u'b'chinas gadlus. In yira you have the smallest level of yira at katnus, b'chinas gadlus, the highest level of yira. I know. Is b'chinas yira zu. When your yira, the origin of your yira, means when you see the greatness of Hashem, the human malakal almin is feeling with his light the whole entire world, as it says many times. Malakal meaning that the light that penetrates deep inside us, internally, and compatible to us. For example, there is certain light that gives energy to our feet, it gives energy to our stomach, to our mind. The different type of lights. The mind has a greater light than your stomach and your feet. And the light and energy gives to human being, it's not the same thing as the animals. And the energy that goes to the animals is not the same as the plants. And the energy goes to the plants, it's not the same as goes to the doimim, to non-movable object. All this malakal almin. Malakal almin, it gives light to the world according to their needs. It's compatible light. It's malakal almin. You think about how Hashem gives light to the higher world, according to their capability of being a recipient of that light, according to their needs. Yeah. And you see that there's it's a big bull, but the world has a gvul. From here going to the heaven, that's 500 years walking distance. When they're killed, then you must know the Gemara says over there. Between each heaven, you have another distance of 500 years. Then when you go to all the seven heavens, 3,500 years already holding. Ragla chayos can I get kulam? The legs of the chayos, it's another 3,500 years. Can I get kulam? And then the Gemara goes on and on and on over there. Ragla chayos, shoykeh chayos, and it goes to go all the way to a higher level. You need many thousands of years. So you see, that's a great world. Yeah, and who did all these worlds? Who created them? Who's energizing them? It's Hashem. And when you go up to all this in Elam Asiyah, then you have a higher world going to upper world, Adrum Kalamailas. Even though you're really thinking of, that's what really called over there in the Gemara, Maisa Bereshis, when you go to higher level, to Maisa Merkava, you're going to a very deep thought. But all this it says, Afal Pekan Nikra Yira Zu, Yira Chitzoinis, But at the lowest level of Yira. Why? You're talking about big inyanim over here. You're talking about things. Why? Me'achar shenimsheches me'oilamos shem levushim shel HaMelech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because you really didn't touch yet the God himself. You're talking about his garment. All this is his garment. All the worlds, all the malachim, all the heavens, it's all the garments of Hashem. You didn't yet speak about the God himself. That's the chitzonius. It's the lowest level. As Hashem, Asher mistater u'misalem u'mislabesh bohem lachayotzim u'lekaimom. He is hiding. He is concealing himself. He's clothing himself in those worlds. Lachayotzim u'lekaimom, and he gives them chayes and energy, life. Yeah, but he is give. But they are concealing him. They are covering on him. Oh. Again, so you coming, you know there is a God over here, but your main is boinanus, your main thinking is of the world, of the garments. That's why it's called Yirat Hatorah. Rakshi Ashar, this is the gate, Pesach, and the entrance. That's a good way to start. That's what's going to give you to do Torah mitzvahs. Like we said before, if you see all these big creations that nullify to Hashem, me, the little guy, how much more I have to be nullified to him, listen to him, and do what he wants to do. But that's called all this Yirat Hatorah. Achayira ilo, the highest level of that's called B'chinas Gadlus, Yira ilo, Yira boishes, the Yira pnimis. Boishes meaning that you have a shame from Hashem himself. You know, animals have no shame. What makes one of the qualities of a human being, that's the shame. Especially today, it's so important because today, a lot of people in the Western culture trying to kill the organ that's called shame. They're killing it. Be proud of whatever you do. Everything you have to be proud of. You could be doing things that are shameful, or was shameful 100 years ago. Now it becomes, they're trying to kill the shame. Basically, they're trying to convert the person to an animal. If you take a shame of people, basically the animals, because animals have no shame. Animal never says, oh, it's not nice to do the middle of the street, or to go without garments, or to go walk out without shoes. That's animal. There's no nice, not nice up there. Shame is a big madreka. In Avodas Hashem, the highest level, when you feel that's the level of Odom. In the Odom, you have level Odom Shabbat Odom Elyon. That Yira Boishes. You're such a great level of fearing of God. You feel it's a shame to do this. It's not like I'm afraid to rebel. I'm afraid to be disconnected because my whole year it's coming from my eyes. I feel the lakus itself. I feel the presence of Hashem. I feel it's a shame to do this. It's a very high level. It's a level of Odom, feeling shame. I am not looking only at the worlds, the external world that Hashem is mislabesh b'soichom, clothe himself in the world. But I'm looking at the chayes in the world. She nimshechet mipnim yosel lakus shebasoich ha'olamois. You start now. You're going to higher level. You're looking not at the worlds, you're looking at Hashem that mechaya the worlds. That's what your main focus, not on the levushim, not on the garments. You're looking more on the chayes which is in the world. And obviously there's the inyanim you could learn, deepen your thought on this. Alaya omru iman chochma and yir. You cannot reach this level without chochma. Iman chochma and yir. So one time we say you need yira to come to chochma. At that time, we said we need Chachma to come to Yira, depends. On the lowest level, we said you need first Yira, then you come to Chachma. At the highest level, you need a lot of Chachma, a lot of understanding of godliness. Then you're going to come to this level of Yira, and you feel godliness, you feel God, and you feel shame. The Chachma, Yikoyach Mo. When you come to the level of a true level of Chachma, Koyach Mo. And Koyach Mo, we said many times, that's the potential of the Chokhmah. what comes later on in the Bina. And Memela, you also feel the ma, the bittul, the nachma ma. V'achochma me'ayin timotze. And you feel, when you feel it by chochma, the main thing is the giver is Hashem. I'm just a recipient. And you feel I'm nothing, because I'm so consumed by His presence, by His wisdom. So I feel v'achochma me'ayin timotze. I come to the level of ayin. V'ezu chochom haroya sanoilot. That's what it says in Turkey Ovis. How it relates over here, Pirush. Sharoya kol dover echnoilad v'nisave me'ayin leyesh. It's another Pirush on the side that you see in life. What's gonna, one action can bring you to another. It tells you over here a Chassidish Pirush. The level of Chochmah in godliness. You see how things in the world being born and reborn. The whole world being born every day. Who makes the world to exist, to be alive? The Moilid the world. Who's giving Hoilot the world? Aroya es anoila. He looks at everything. How does everything in the world, the whole universe, being born v'nishave, coming to existence, from nothing to something. It's happening. With his words, he created all the creation. And if you come through this understanding of godliness, Hashem, Teilim b'metzius mamash b'dvar haveh v'ruach piv, u'koloi mamash chashiva v'ayin v'efes mamash kebitul oir b'ziv hashemesh v'guv hashemesh atzma. The meaning like this. The emes is what he's saying over here. Yeah, you're a tato, you're a law. This is what we're going to say in Shara Yichud V'Emunah. We're going to learn this later on. That's what's called Shema Yisrael. It's called Yehuda Ilah Baruch Shem Yehuda Tato. Yira Tato. It's really, it's Baruch Shem, the level of Baruch Shem meaning at the level, the way we see the world. We come to the world, our perception. There's a world over here, yeah? We see the world, we look at the world. We look at the world over here, we go higher and higher, we look at the moon and the sun and the stars. And then we say, you know what? There is somebody moving this world. The world is only levushim. Still, we're coming in from our perception, but we are here. And the male from the levushim will see the king and then bring us to Yira Tato. Yira Ilah, how everything is bottled to Hashem. The main thing is God. All this levushim we spoke about, they completely nullified and bottle and mavutal. This perception of Ilah, the way he looks at it, that everything is bottle and mavutal to him. When you come to that level, that's Yira Ilah, that everything is bottled to him, they don't even in existence. Without him, they wouldn't be here. And he says like this, again, you coming to the same point. Sometimes you could look at the whole thing as a theoretical. It's not negate to you. You also have to be part of this bittul. Not only the sun is completely bottled to Hashem, the moon, the world. Me too, completely bottled to Hashem. Without him, I wouldn't be here. I'm ayin v'efes. That's how you look at the world. His body, his soul, the completely bottle nullified in the words of Hashem, with the Bura is Bura. If I'm bottled to his dibur, and his dibur is completely connected to his machshava and to him, so we bottle to him lamaisa, not just bottle to his dibur. The canal Perek Chop B'Chop in Perek Chop B'Chop we spoke ba'arichus on this Indian. That's really a good Indian for his boinen. If somebody needs a little bit material to be misboinen, how to come to level of bittul and Chop B'Chop we talked about ba'arichus b'derech moshel minefesh odom shedibur echad medibur machshavtoi koloim mamash. It's completely, when your words completely nullified to you, something of this whole world is completely nullified to Hashem. And Yiras Hashem, He Chochma. Yiras Hashem, come to that level of Yiras Hashem, the Yehuda Eloh, that Yiro Iloh, that everything is completely bottled to Hashem. The main thing is Hashem. That's Chochma. For that you need a lot of Chochma, which level of Chochma? Information of godliness. Yeah. And the second thing, you need over here to come to the level of koyach ma, to come to the level of ma, of bitul, yeah, and you come to it by saying as the chocham haroes and all. You see how Hashem creates and recreates the world every moment. Without him, they wouldn't be here. The Mela, even when they're here, they completely bottled to him, and that's what it says. And Yiras Hashem Chochma. We come to this level of Yira through the Chochma. Ah, I אפשר להשיג לירה בחוכמה זו, אלא בקים תורה mitzvahs. זה יראת התורה החיצונית. You have to first go through ירא חיצונית. Somebody cannot jump on this level. Somebody cannot say, I'm going to learn theology, philosophy, and I'm going to come to this level straight. No, you must come through a lot of Torah mitzvahs. זה יראת התורה החיצונית. וזה שאומרים, and ירא and חוכמה. In the pashtus to explain why do we need, what's the connection? Why do I need to come to the Torah mitzvahs, yeah? To come to this level of Yira Ilah. If Yira Ilah, it's thinking of Hashem himself and how everything is bottled in. Why can't I come to it directly with just thinking of that or learning of that theoretically? It's pashut. It's the same idea we said before. You need to be a kli. If the kli is full of dirt, there's not a place for gold over there. And what makes the kli, what makes the body a kli, a vessel, to be a vessel, to understand such a godliness, such a lakut, such a refined inyanim, that's when we do Torah and mitzvahs, it's refining our kelim, refining our body. When we already refined, now this thinking will be effective. If we're not refined through Torah and mitzvahs, we cannot be a kli for such a level of Yirei. That's why first you come to Yirei Tato, but then through Yirei Tato you do Torah and mitzvahs, and then when you refine your body, the Torah and mitzvahs, now you might be able to come to union of Yirei. Here, let's see you tomorrow night.